Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at the KZN September 2022 paper. Question number 1. Tyler decides to purchase a sound system which costs 7,999 Rand on a hire purchase agreement. If Tyler pays a 11% deposit, calculate the balance after Tyler has paid that deposit. So question 1.1.1, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work out what is 11% of the original amount. So 11% is 11 over 100 times the original amount, so 7,999, and that is equal to 879 Rand and 89 cents. So the balance that Tyler owes after paying the deposit is going to be the difference between those two values. So 7,999 minus 879.89, and that's equal to 7,119.11. Now the next question reads, the store charges Tyler 20% interest per year with the loan payable over 4 years. Calculate the total amount that he will have to pay back. So I'm going to write out the information. The interest rate is 20% per annum. The number of years is 4. And we want to work out how much Tyler is going to pay at the end. So A is equal to P, open bracket 1 plus I times N. Remember, hire purchase is simple interest. Now, Tyler's borrowing 7,119 Rand and 11 cents. It's the value we worked out previously. And then into 1 plus 20 over 100 multiplied by 4. And that gives us a total amount of 12,814 Rand and 40 cents. So that's how much Tyler is going to have to pay back after borrowing the 7,119 Rand. Question 1.1.3 reads, Tyler is also required to pay a monthly insurance of 30 Rand and an administration fee of 12 Rand. How much will Tyler's monthly payments be? So this amount that Tyler is paying back, the 12,814 Rand, that's going to be over 4 years. Now, 4 years times 12 is going to equal 48 months. So what we need to do is figure out if Tyler is paying that amount back, how much is that monthly? So 12,814 Rand and 40 cents divided by the 48 months. That's equal to 266 Rand and 97 cents. Now he has these other things that he needs to add on. So he has to add on the 30 Rand for admin and 12 Rand, 30 Rand for insurance and 12 Rand for admin. So he's adding on 42 Rand every month. So we're going to add 42 here. And that's going to give us a new monthly payment of 308 Rand and 97 cents per month. Okay, now let's take a look at question 1.2. On a trip to Florida, Akwande booked into a hotel for 4 nights. The exchange rate at that time was $1 equals 16 Rand 77 cents. The cost per night was $450. How much did she spend in rands for the 4 nights? So what we can do is we can work out what's the total cost in dollars for the 4 nights. So if one night is 450, then 4 nights is going to equal 450 times 4, which is equal to $1,800. Now we can convert the $1,800 into rands by using the conversion. So if $1 is equal to 16.77, then $1,800 is going to be 1,800 times 16.77, and that's going to equal 30,186 Rand. Okay, now let's move on to question 1.3. After 7 years, an investment increased to 95,798.35. if the interest rate was 8.25 per annum compounded annually, so this is important, compounded, calculate the amount initially invested. So let's write out the information. So we know n is 7, so it's 7 years. We know that the amount at the end, so the A value is 95798.35. We also know the interest rate. So the interest rate is 8.25 over 100. And they want to know how much was initially invested. They want to know what was the P value. So we can say A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the power n, because it's compounded. It's compound interest. So 95798.35 is equal to P into 1 plus 8.25 over 100 to the power of 7. Now we can just divide. So we'll say 95798.35 divided by 1 plus 8.25 over 100 to the power of 7, and that's going to equal P. And so we'll get P is equal to 55,000 Rand. Okay, now let's move on to question 1.4. So question 1.4 reads, a lender deposits 4,500 Rand into a savings account. At the end of 4 years, she adds a further amount of 2,500 Rand into the savings account. The interest paid on the savings is 7.5% compounded annually. Calculate how much money is in the account at the end of 4 years immediately after the second deposit. So here it'll be easy just to picture it in form of a number line, right? So this is T0, so initial, right? That's right now. Linda deposits 4,500 Rand. Okay, then T1, that's 1 year. T2, that's 2 years. T3, that's 3 years. T4, that's 4 years. So that 4,500 Rand is going to grow for 4 years. And then Linda is going to add in 2,500 Rand. So let's first figure out how much that 4,500 Rand grows to. So we're going to say A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the power n, since it is compounded. So 4,500 into 1 plus the interest rate is 7.5%. So 7.5 over 100, and that's to the power of 4. And that's going to give us an answer of 6,009 Rand and 61 cents. So at this point, there's 6,009 Rand 61 cents. Then Linda adds 2,500 Rand. So we'll add the 2,500 here, and that's going to give us a new amount of 8,509 Rand and 61 cents. Now 1.4.2 reads, calculate how much there will be available in the savings account 10 years after the first deposit. So in other words, they want to know how much will there be at T10. So we want to grow this amount that we just worked out. Let's use a different color here. So this amount that's sitting in the account, so 8509.61, we want to grow it for another 6 years. Right? So 1.4.2, we're going to say A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the power of n. Now we're growing the 8,509 Rand 61 cents. 1 plus the interest rate is still 7.5 over 100, and we're growing it for another 6 years. And that's going to give us 13,132 Rand and 89 cents. Okay, now the commenter had asked me to do question number 3 as well. So let's take a look at that. Question number 3 reads, the coordinates of triangle ABD are given below. E is the midpoint of BD. Okay, Now 3.1 says calculate the length of BD, leave your answer in surd form. Now surd form means leave it with a square root. So 3.1, we'll use the distance formula. Now I'm going to label this x2, I'm going to call that y2, that's going to be x1, that's going to be y1. So BD is going to equal the square root of 3 minus 1, so 3 plus 1 all squared, plus y2, so 5 minus 3, so 5 plus 3 all squared, and that's going to give me the answer of 4 square root 5 after simplifying. Question 3.2 says, determine the coordinates of E, the midpoint of BD. Now to calculate midpoint, you just add the two x values, divide by 2, add the two y values, and divide by 2. So the coordinate E is going to be 3 minus 1 divided by 2, and 5 minus 3 divided by 2. So E is going to have coordinates 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. And the same thing for the y coordinate, 1 and 1. So E is going to be 1 and 1. Now question 3.3 says, show that AE is perpendicular to BD. Now remember that if two lines are perpendicular, then the gradients or the product of the gradients will equal minus 1. So what we want to do is work at the gradient of AE, then work at the gradient of BD, and then multiply them. If the product of the gradients is minus 1, then it's perpendicular. So 3.3, I'm going to say the gradient of AE is going to be, let's go with 4 plus 3 over minus 5 plus 1. And that's 7 over minus 4. Is that y2? So 6, 4 plus 3, correct? Oh, I've worked out the wrong one. I've worked out AD. Let me fix this. So AE is going to be 4 minus 1 divided by minus 5 minus 1. And that's equal to 3 over minus 6, which is minus a half. AE is this line right here. I should have drawn it in. Anyway, now let's work at the gradient of BD. So the gradient of BD is going to equal, let's go 5 plus 3. So 5 minus 3 is 5 plus 3 divided by 3 minus 1. So that's going to equal 5 plus 3 is 8 over 3 plus 1 is 4, and that's 2. Now if I multiply those gradients, so minus half times 2 is equal to minus 1. Since the product is equal to minus 1, we can say therefore AE is perpendicular to BD. Now let's take a look at question 3.4. So question 3.4 says, determine the equation of the line parallel to BD and passing through A. So parallel to BD. So it's going to be this line here. Let's redo that. Okay. So if the line is parallel to BD, that means it's going to have the same gradient as BD. So the gradient of the new line is going to equal the gradient of BD, which is 2. We worked that out. And it passes through A, so all we need to do is substitute point A. Now we know that the equation of a line is y equals mx plus c. Let's substitute A. So sub A is minus 5 and 4. So we'll say 4 is equal to 2 into minus 5 plus c. That means 4 is equal to minus 10 plus c. C is equal to 14. That means the line is going to be y is equal to 2x plus 14. Now question 3.5. calculate the area of triangle ABD. Okay, so to calculate the area, we know the length of this. We know this length. So the area of a triangle, so area is going to equal half the base times the height. We know the base. We worked out the base in the previous question. So the base was 4 square root 5. All we need to do is work out the height. The height is AE. So we can work out AE really quickly. So AE is going to equal square root x2 minus x1. So let's go with minus 5 minus 1 all squared plus y2 minus y1. So 4 minus 1 all squared. So that's going to be 6 squared, 36, and 3 squared, 9. So that's going to be 3 square root 5. And we just substitute. So 3 square root 5 is our height. And that's going to give us an answer of 30 units squared. And the last question, question 3.6, says determine the coordinates of a point C such that the quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus. Okay, so if ABCD is a rhombus, so I'm imagining point C is going to be somewhere here. Point C should be somewhere here. Now, there's a few ways that we can do it. I'm going to go with the translation method. So if I'm going to go from A to B, right? A to B is how many units in length. So from A to B, I'm just focusing on the change in the X. So it goes from minus 5 to 3, which is 8 units. That means D to C should also be 8 units. So minus 1, and if you add 8, you'll get 7. So C is going to be 7. Now, if I focus on the change in the Y values, from 4 to minus 3 is a change in height of 7 units. So from B to C, it should also be 7 units. Right? So 5. So 4 to minus 3 is 7. Yeah. That means from 5 to C should also be 7. So that's going to be negative 2. If you subtract 7 from 5, you get negative 2. So C is going to be 7 and negative 2. And that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.